Well, hello and good afternoon, good evening across the world. It is the Peppers Echo, and you are watching the NA discussion. Okay, so yes, I'm alone today. My main man, intellectual, streetwise buddy, is unfortunately not in today. So yeah, we've all been feeling under the weather. In fact, I've been down all day and actually wondering if I should actually be doing a stream today, because it's been so hazy and it was like a last minute change. So I'm sort of falling around going, well, what are we going to look at today? But yeah, we'll look at something. So welcome to Pepper's Echo, the NA discussion. It is very, very much there for your entertainment. And remember, we are from the outside looking in. We are not intellectually researched people. We are looking at something that we hear every day, something that you speak about around a braai fire or barbecue fire, for those who don't know what a braai fire is. And we try and figure out what the reason of the situations. We actually create the questions. Once again, as I usually do, and tell you that the big guns are the guys that are actually going to be able to answer all your questions. Those are the guys like a Ronaldo Gous, Ramon Cabernac with Morning Shot, Chris Wyatt, Joe Emilio. He's done an absolutely superb cover on what we want to talk about this evening. Just a little bit of a lash on the Cape Independence March. And then there is germ warfare as well. Battle of Ideas. I will link them all in the comments below so that you are able to go and take a look at these guys as well. And there you'll find more in-depth facts, researched answers, etc., etc. Right now, we are only there to sort of ask the questions. I'm very, very much still in the dark on this, and do apologize if I don't pull out as much as what you're looking for. Just a quick shout out and hello to Divan. So how's it, Divan? How are you keeping? Good to see you on the side as well. Yeah, I dropped old Divan the other night as well. I had to crash. I was so ill. And yeah, have not been feeling Mr. $100 tonight either. But first of all, as usually goes, like and subscribe, please. This video only gets out and gets to see or hear you, or you to get to see and hear me, if you like it and you subscribe to it, and you get to share it as well. This again is the NA discussion on Pepper's Echo. My name's Andre, and welcome to those watching live. Welcome to those who are catching these on a rerun as well. Your support, your subscription, and your likes and that are very, very much appreciated. If you have any ideas on topics that you would like to discuss, if you'd like to come onto the show or actually discuss a topic with us, or you have a topic that you would like us to discuss or cover, it doesn't have to be political. It doesn't have to be blatantly now. It can be anything of your interest, whether it be in Cambodia, whether it be in South Africa. It is not of the problem there. Please drop us a mail and let us know at peppersecho at gmail.com, PEPRS Echo, not another P with another E that's left out. So please, if you can do that, I would greatly appreciate it. And don't forget, once again, please subscribe as we go along. Right, I have a couple of screen shares. Once again, I need to just put it out there. None of what I'm sharing, none of what you are seeing, do I have the rights to, do I own, do I claim to have any form of right or ownership of. They are all owned, and the rights are owned by the people themselves who actually have put it out there and put it together. But there are different clips that I want to basically support this evening's discussion. And this evening's discussion, I'd like to take a look at Cape Independence. What is Cape Independence? What is the Cape Party? What do they want? Is Cape Independence feasible? Is it something that can come to reality? What will happen if it does come to reality? Is it something that should happen? Are we trying to put a plaster on a wound that needs to be, should we say, treated with an antibiotic more than what you need to treat the spot? You need to treat the whole body. What is it all about? Cape independence. It's suddenly becoming more and more of a, is it flavor of the month? Is it flavor of the season? Is it a feasible option? I mean, can you really take the Cape, a Western Cape in South Africa, and make it independent as such? Now, I have a couple of Cape Independence videos and promo videos, which I would like to share with you. And we can take a look. Let me just make sure that audio is on as well. And let's take a look at this chap over here.
Imagine waking up every day in a free country where you feel safe and secure.
Your children can play freely without you worrying whether they would come home or not.
Social services that can provide and assist the aged and the underprivileged.
Where our farmers are protected and can freely produce the very foods we need to survive.
Having job security where you can provide for your family based on your skills.
A first world education system so that your children can have the skills to be competitive.
A world-class healthcare system that provides for the very people that need it.
Not being persecuted because of the color of your skin, your cultural identity, or religious beliefs.
Where your neighborhood is safe from gangsters, drug abuse, and violent crimes.
Where the government is not riddled with corruption and works for the people.
A country where there is no shortage of water or electricity.
We all want a country with zero tolerance for crime. Well-protected borders, effective public service, and a thriving economy.
Where people like you and me are valued and recognized. Where our heritage is not only protected,
but where we work together and build a new heritage for all to be proud of.
Be careful. They'll say you're a dreamer.
Yes, but I'm not the only one.
We need your support to make this a reality for everyone. So register your support for Western Cape independence at www.capeexit.org.
Okay, so that's the first of many that I'd like to show you. There are two. Just hang on a second. Did I not stop it correctly? There we go. So yes, there's one of two that I would like to show you of videos that will actually give you a option to take a look at and start making up your mind for yourself as such. But I'm just looking at that video, and doesn't it just sound like utopia to you? Doesn't it just sound like bliss? Absolute. You know, it's like a perfect world out there when they advertise, you know, no crime, safe and secure, health for all, maintenance, no water shortage, no electricity out. It sounds absolutely down the yellow brick road, finding utopia. And is that possible? Is that possible even if the Cape goes independent? I mean, let's take a look at superpowers, the UK, the USA. These are supposed to have been run by powerful, independent, brilliant, but still they have huge problems. I mean, there's a multicultural, multiracial United States, and they are still having racial issues in the United States. BLM, just to go for the flavor of the month at the moment over there. And is Cape Town independently really going to be so utopic as what it is put out there? Are you going to get rid of all forms of gang violence? Are you going to get rid of all forms of maintenance problems? How are you going to put the health structure together? I have another one that I want to show you that also just, I should say, advocates or shouts for Cape independence. Take a look at that one.
Consent of the people is the cornerstone of democracy. 71% of Cape voters do not want the ANC to govern them. Never in the history of South Africa have the people of the Cape ever given their consent to be governed by the ANC. Since 1994, the ANC has averaged only 36% of the Cape vote. Over the last decade, that average has fallen to 31%. In 2019, despite Ramaphosa, it dropped to an all-time low of 29%. Our government was not chosen by our people. It was chosen despite them.
I'm so used to mediocrity. I don't expect much from the government anyway. I mean, why are we still struggling with such extreme inequality, unemployment, and poor education? And not to mention the high levels of crime and gender-based violence.
I do not have the government which I want, as our current government is filled with corruption, incompetence, double standards when it comes to racism, and our country faces a huge unemployment and inequality challenge.
Definitely not. They're incompetent and corrupt, they're obsessed by race, and they're pursuing policies that are doomed to failure. You only have to look at how many people are unemployed and the state of our economy.
I do sometimes wish I can leave, but I can't really afford to, and why should I have to? I do worry about a future for my children. I'm constantly worried about crime, and to be honest, I feel marginalized. Am I even still welcome here?
Every day I consider leaving the country of my birth, as so many of our problems are faced by so many South Africans across the divide. Poor South Africans, particularly those who are black, do not have the means to really be empowered and truly be empowered.
I think everyone has, haven't they? Look, I love South Africa and I really don't want to leave. But I do ask myself, what future do my children really have if I stay here?
Is that even possible? Well, if it's going to mean that corruption, crime, and poverty are finally going to be properly addressed, and that we start building an inclusive community where everyone is welcome, then why not?
I have considered whether the Cape should leave South Africa. I just have never thought that it is really possible or likely. Also, there seems to not be that much support from what I understand, but I really hope that actually there are many closet Cape secessionist supporters out there.
Definitely, I'm all for it. The Cape is different to South Africa and we just want different things. I want a future for my children, and I think if we're going to have that, we have to go it alone.
Our national government was chosen for us, not by us. As the people of the Cape, we do not want this government. The brutal truth, however, is that we did give our consent. We gave it by allowing the rest of South Africa to choose on our behalf. We continue to give it by staying in a voluntary relationship with South Africa. Many would say it has become an abusive relationship, but we don't have to stay. The democratic will of the peoples of the Cape can only ever truly be expressed when we choose our own government. Visit www.capeindependence.org to find out more.
Okay, so that's another one. And yeah, the one sort of proclaimed that the Cape is, how should I say, is going to be a beautiful utopia. It really, really puts it out as stunning. You know, no violence, no. I don't want to repeat myself over and over again. However, the next one goes, you know what? Why am I leaving my country? And look, you know what? I'm one of the first that can attest to it. I left South Africa because South Africa chewed me up and spat me out. No work, scraping the bottom of the barrel, absolutely breaking you. And it's not even been 2 years out. And when I speak to friends and family back home, all that I hear is, you know what? If you thought it was bad when you left, you should see it now. It's 10 times worse. Which is sad, because what you see on those video clips is the beauty of South Africa, specifically the Western Cape. The Western Cape is probably one of the most beautiful spots. And I've had the good fortune of being able to live there for a good couple of years. And strangely enough, it was Brackenfell that I lived in. And it was lovely. Brackenfell, and that's why I can honestly say to you, is not a poor squatter camp. It is an average, everyday working person's neighborhood who's proud and family orientated and loves life to go ahead. Yes, Divan's answer as well. He says he left because he didn't have a future there, unfortunately. And that's why a lot of people are leaving. They leave South Africa because there doesn't seem to be any future. The ANC is blindly creating a lack of future for anybody excepting for themselves, the select few that are able to embezzle, corrupt, steal, twist, manipulate to actually get any form of money or cash or surviving there. And then, of course, they turn a blind eye to groups like the EFF. They are on their knees when it comes to the unions, taxi organizations, etc., etc. So I look at the Cape Independence, and then they've said, yes, well, you know what? This is why we are leaving. And I fully agree. Everything that they've said there is true. You know, is there a future for your children? Is there a future for yourself? How safe is it for you to be in South Africa in general? You know, South Africa is, sorry to say, a murderous country at the moment. We fear for all those that live there, black and white. You know, you talk about white people being killed. Black people are being killed just as much, being terrorized, being traumatized. An unemployment rate that they manipulate to look good, which is well over 30% around about now, and probably, I don't know when they say the end of COVID, I don't know when the end of COVID is going to be. It's probably looking closer to 40%. Now that's nearly half your country unemployed. And then you have groups and people, as we showed on one of the previous Peppers Echo shows, where they say, well, you should multiply, have more babies, have more children. And of course, the backlash of that's only coming through now, with still a lack of control in there. And it's devastating. Probably one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful country in the world. I firmly believe South Africa is the most beautiful country in the world. There are no better views. You can find such peace within inside you in that place. But being allowed to find that peace is another question. Now, my question being is, if this is what you want to create an independent country, an independent state, or whatever from the rest of the country. You want the Western Cape, and the Western Cape is being run well. Let's not look away from that. The Western Cape is basically DA run, which the DA, somebody's going to shoot me for this, because yeah, I support the DA. I do believe, however, that they are a little bit hot-headed, but the bottom line is they get the job done and they get it right. So why not support people that get it right? I think Trump is arrogant, hot-headed as well, but I think he gets it right. And that's why I think he should remain president of the United States, although I know that horse is bolted already, so that's not going to be happening. However, let's take a look at the Western Cape. So we make that an independent country. We get Western Cape independence. What are you going to be doing for the rest of the country? You know what, does that mean the rest of the country moves to the Western Cape? What's going to happen to the Western Cape unemployment rate? What's going to happen to the Western Cape housing rate? What's going to happen to the Western Cape maintenance, electricity? What is going to happen to the Western Cape? Are you going to cater for every single person? And that is the majority of South Africans who want peace. We allowed it when we voted back in 1992, was it 94 or 92, somewhere around there? Anyway, it was allowed. We voted for it. We voted for that utopia. We voted for that rainbow nation. We voted for peace and tranquility. We voted for togetherness. We voted for growing together. We voted for absolute unity. This is exactly what the Western Cape is wanting. and this is what the Western Cape is advocating. Is the Western Cape not repeating a page in South Africa then? It's just a query. Yes, hopefully, and I'm sure it won't be subject to the ANC, because most of the Western Cape is already DA run as such. And the DA is doing a far more reasonable, responsible way job than what the ANC is doing, and it won't be run by the ANC. So definitely it'll be run at a higher standard in the country. But where's everyone going to go? If we take a look at South Africa and Zimbabwe, all of a sudden Zimbabwe had nothing. South Africa became the rainbow nation. Where did everybody run from our neighboring states? They imploded into South Africa, because that was going to be, or supposed to be, the utopia, or is still supposed to be the utopia. You still have people running to South Africa in the absolute tragic condition that it currently is. Is the Western Cape not pulling another page to repeat history? Just a question. I'm not saying it is so. As I said, once again, I am very, very much a layman with layman terms. But it's just a question. Is the Western Cape not going to be repeating history? Hello, Linda. How are you keeping? So good to see you again on the NA discussion. I'm sorry it's a little bit of a quiet one today, but lovely to see you back again. Wonderful. Welcome back, Linda. And so I'm trying to take a look and say, you know what, is the Western Cape not going to repeat history? Are they not going to vote for the perfect utopia? And that perfect utopia is then going to result in another 20 years of a smaller version of South Africa, mini me. Now, I don't know, obviously being run, let's take a look at the upside. It's being run by a more mature, more reasonable, more responsible, more results orientated, less corrupt government, because as you will find that the Cape Exit and Cape Independence groups are more, they are political pressure groups. They are not politically seeking political power or seeking power of any kind. They are wanting to keep the Democratic Alliance there. The Democratic Alliance in turn is also unsure of how this is to turn out or look. Because once again, as I say, if the Western Cape does obtain, and I'm sorry to say, me being skeptical, I really don't think it's going to materialize. But you know what? I have been proven wrong many, many times in my life. In my heart, in my actual heart, I so plead and wish and pray that it does, because it almost opens up a little glimmer of hope to return home again. As someone said to me the other day, but Andre, you don't have a home anymore. And you know what? Sadly, I don't. I said, you know what will happen if they want to deport me one day? Where would they send me? South Africa doesn't want me. The country deporting me doesn't want me. I'll just have to play a tennis match in airplanes flying up and down because nobody wants me. So hopefully the country that I'm in is happy with what I'm doing here, because South Africa really, really wasn't. They couldn't care. They will take you to the cleaners. The people in South Africa have also, the few people that have money, and sadly I'm talking black and white now, and I have had very, very bad experiences with, sadly, let me reiterate again, majority white arrogance, where I was in retail for 20-something years, and the people that treated me the worst, that were the most arrogant, that were the least lenient, least understanding, and really treated you like a dirt rag, and sort of gave themselves the right to wipe themselves on you, and would gladly see you suffer, was sort of white people that had a sense of owning, or I would say probably had money, and they would just want to walk all over you. So sadly, that attitude is a South African attitude that needs to be gutted out, ripped out, because what are you going to deal with? Are the Cape Independents these group of people? Are they this group of people that want what's mine, and I'll be arrogant to you, because then you're not going to get any peace in anywhere. You're not going to get the people happy, because they're not looking after the general public. They're then looking after the general Joes on the top, not Joe public. And unfortunately, as I say, my experience in retail has been very, very bad. And I like to think I'm center right when I swing center right, but I'll tell you, the people that have treated me the worst in South Africa, I'm not talking about murders and things like that, EFF's arrogance in being racist and that, but I'm just talking about people who generally would rather see you bleed to death on the side of the road because you didn't bow over and kiss their butts, were white. And I think white arrogance needs to be addressed, but not white racism, because I think that in its terms should be used independently and should be used on both sides of the coin, which racism does not, I should say, enjoy the individual benefit of what it should in South Africa. So then I'm looking at the Cape independence. So would it become an elite country or elite state or whatever, something, an elitist? How are you going to look after Joe every day? How are you going to accommodate Joe every day? Are you going to close your doors, build a wall, and not allow the rest of the country in? Because sure, trust me, the minute if that has to happen, everybody, including myself, will want to move to the Western Cape, including myself. So you're going to find maybe people who never saw the opportunity to go home now want to go back to South Africa and settle in the Western Cape. You're going to find people that live in the rest of South Africa suddenly decide, well, you know what, that's Utopia, that's where I want to be. I'm now moving to the Western Cape. And I'm talking black and white, guys. I'm not just talking, it's not going to be a racist nation. I do not believe, excuse me, that Cape independence is looking at being a racist nation or a racist state or a racist country. I do believe that the intention is to be open. I do believe that the people who want it. So let me not say to you that the intention of these people is not to have an elitist state, to have an overpopulated country or state or anything like that. The intention is definitely on those videos that I showed you. The intention is to have a peaceful country and to have a country where everything works, healthcare for all, care for the old, employment, etc., etc., etc. However, my concern is, how will it be managed? Because I mean, I know the DA does a good job. I'm there for it. I'm all for it. They do a good job. I mean, if you take a look at the municipal, what am I thinking of now? The audits, municipal audits, and that I don't want to say 90%, but far over 50% of the country's clean audits come from the Western Cape, where most of 90% of their municipalities are run cleanly, squarely, and clearly. The corruption, the debt, the extortion, the incompetence is all run at basically what you would call, and I'm sorry to say, ANC run municipalities. It's an absolutely grab what you got. It's holding the little box of marshmallows out there and everybody grows and throws their hands in there. Does not care if the person behind them gets anything. So I do believe that the intention of Cape independence, of having an independent Cape country, Western Cape's an independent country, is definitely good. I just wonder about the practicality and the possibility. If that is what you're wanting to do for the Western Cape, is it going to create this influx and you're trying to put a plaster on a sore, and this is what you should actually be doing for the whole country? Or are we, I don't know. But anyway, yesterday, the 5th of December, there was a march, a Cape Independent March, Free the Western Cape. And the Cape Party was at the front line of this. And I don't know the Cape Party too well, so I'm actually trying to find out a little bit more about it, etc., etc., etc. Very young, very demographically mixed well. It seems to have a lot of support. I just don't know if it's got the support that it needs. But let's take a look and see what the leader of the Cape Party has to say when it comes to. Let me try and open it up so it's Chingoes. That's not cool. what the leader says when it comes to the Cape Party. Share my audio first, otherwise I'm going to have a problem. At the Cape Independent March, let's see this.
Why Cape Independence?
Why Cape Independence? Well, that's a good question. And I think anyone who's been living in this country for the last 26 years knows the answer to that question. Things are falling apart. Cape Independence is no longer a desirable option. It is inevitable. It has to happen. We cannot allow this destruction to continue. Absolutely.
On which principles should a free and independent Cape be built?
An independent Cape should be built on the principles of non-racialism, peace, and prosperity. We at the Cape Party, we don't look at things like left and right. We look at the world as what's right and what's wrong. And if you take the planet as a laboratory for countries that succeed and countries that fail, you get countries like Switzerland, countries like Singapore, who went through world wars, who also suffered from colonialism, but with good political and economic policies, today are one of the strongest economies in the world, highest standards of living, lowest unemployment. We can't keep looking in the rearview mirror. If you want to build a good, strong country which benefits everyone of all races, you need good economic and good political policies. This is what the Cape Party will deliver in an independent Cape.
Will an independent... Why?
Okay, so there you have the promises of the Cape Party. As I said, my point of view is really in my heart of hearts, and that little compartment at the bottom of my heart, I really, really wish it to come true. In my head, where there's a little bit of reason and maybe skepticism, I wonder if it is going to be able to be the country and the party that they are looking for as such, because it's really a utopia. It sounds beautiful, but rarely do you ever find something that is one. I mean, it's what we wanted 26 years ago, was something that beautiful, and it seemed to be going in the right direction. And then it just imploded. And it imploded with the ANC, most definitely. Look, the ANC is the root of all evil in South Africa. I will be the first one to agree with that. I will be the first one to agree that the ANC is corrupt, that the ANC is kept in power by the propagation of the uneducated and poor. I will be the first one to say that the ANC does not really care about the country and its people, and only care about their own back pockets. And it's seen in the country. It's seen by the murders that happen. I mean, you're looking at is it 60 a day? I know Ronaldo's got the figure, but I think it's 60 a day taking place, which is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, South Africa has murders at the rate of war. There is no trust left in South Africa. I don't believe people trust each other anymore. You don't trust anyone going to the store. You can't buy a car. Used cars at trust. I mean, you come along overseas and you look and you go, let's do business. And you go, oh, hang on, you're South African. I don't know if I can do business with you because I don't trust South Africans. It's become a stigma. And, I might be putting my foot in it over here right now, but it is. And now let's take a look at the Western Cape. The Western Cape is saying, let's take the body that has been, I'm sorry to use this innuendo or whatever, but let's take a cancer-ridden body and take the one part that is not infected and move that away, and everybody happily live there. But the rest of the good cells and the bad cells in the rest of that body are going to want to move to that good place. I promise you, it is going to be that. And who are you going to allow in, and who are you going to have to keep out? Because the utopia sounds great. Once again, it sounds great. It is inevitable. The country is an absolute disaster. The best part of that country is the Western Cape. The most beautiful part of that country is the Western Cape. And there's, yes, undoubtedly, a lot of money in the Western Cape as well. They should be able to govern and governed responsibly and governed reasonably. They should be able to be governed well. But when you find the rest of the country all wanting to siphon down into the Western Cape now, who are you going to say no to? What's the cost of living going to be there? I mean, the highest part of the country's GDP comes out of the Western Cape. But who are you going to say no to? This is my biggest point and my biggest problem, is if I was living in Johannesburg, or if I was living in the Free State, in Bloemfontein, or in Durban, in KwaZulu-Natal, or something to that effect, and the Western Cape became independent, and it was this utopia that they've promised me to be, I am going to make every single effort to move down to the Western Cape. There is not going to be jobs for everybody. You're going to have to stay in the rest of the in South Africa, because the Western Cape's going to be a country on its own, and it's going to be the utopian country. And then you're going to find people who are saying, I'll pack up and take my chances. Many times when you go overseas, that's what you do. When you leave South Africa, you pack up, make sure you've got at least a month or two's amount of money to keep your head above water, and you get out and hopefully you pick up something. And how many people are going to hope to pick up something and flee to the Western Cape when it becomes independent, hoping to find something? How many homeless people are not going to find anything? How many are going to be stuck in families and homes and that are overflowing, and you're going to have to cope with a whole new monster, a whole new era? And this is just me, your little, uneducated man in the street going, these are the problems that I'm worried about. You know what? You're always worried when there's a big sale. It's going to be like an Edgar's Red Hanger sale. When the Western Cape becomes independent, you're going to have all these people standing at the door, Black Friday sale, waiting to push in and push in and push in. And then those doors are going to have to fly open. And then you're just going to have chaos, absolute chaos, because that's going to happen. You are all going to want to go. I am going to want to go to the Western Cape. I am going to be part of that chaos, because what? I'm going to stay in South Africa, or I'm going to take my chances in the Western Cape and take my chances in chaos with the hope that there is a future. What are you going to do? You're going to take your chances with that chaos. Now, the DA is a really good political party at the moment, and they're doing a good job running the Cape. They are going to have to change their strategies. They're going to have to change so much to accommodate for what is probably not expected. Currently, if the Cape just goes independent and stays as it is, it'll be really good, because all they're going to do is make it better for Western Cape people. Black and white. I agree 100%. There's just no ways of it, two ways about it. It's definitely going to be much better. But when you are not looking at that anymore, just those few people, and not a few, it's a lot of people, but just the amount that you've got at the moment, you will be able to create a far better place for. But then take double that, if not triple that, and then try and shove it in there and say, right, now manage. It's going to be, yes, it should flourish. Possibly, you could argue on the other side and say, well, you know what, more business. The DA does promote private enterprise, and you're not going to have BEEE in hand and things to that effect. You won't have all of that in hand, and hopefully. You're not going to have racist people moving there, black and white once again, which inevitably you're going to have, because I want my cake and I want to eat it. You know what? If I'm an entitled person living in South Africa and the Western Cape suddenly looks like the grass is green on the other side, and the grass is green on the other side, then I am going to want to go to where the grass is greener, because you know what? I feel that I'm entitled to greener grass. So the entitled ones will move there. The desperate ones will move there. The reasonable ones will move there. But you are going to sit with a pot of licorice all sorts. You are going to sit with a stew in the Western Cape. And are we looking at that, or are we just looking at a better life? As we are currently in the Western Cape, you are going to be able to do that. But when you take that final influx, are you going to do independent trading? Are you going to do where's water and fuel going to come from? Where's your price regulations going to come from? Etc., etc. Small things easily sorted out. I don't say easily, but are able to be sorted out. But when you actually look at the amount of people who are going to want what you are promising, are you going to be able to accommodate that amount of people in the Western Cape? Because it's going to be a shit show. 5th of December, there's a tab that says, excuse me, that says, free the Cape Independence March. It's Stellenbosch. It's in the Cape, in the Times Live. It's Stellenbosch, despite the sweltering heat. That was on the march yesterday. A Cape Independence March, supporters of the Independence Western Cape March in Stellenbosch on December the 5th. Hundreds of supporters of an independent Western Cape marched on Stellenbosch in temperatures sweltering in the 30s to hand over a memorandum to the DA mayor calling the local government to recognize their right to a referendum on the independence for their province. Okay, so that is what the march is all about. So if you're looking, you're going Cape March, Independent March, what was it? It was to hand over a referendum to the DA to recognize their rights. Hand over a memorandum to the DA to recognize their right to a referendum on the independence of the province. In a nutshell, that's what it's all about. Once again, if you want to see a lot of in-depth onto that march and what it was like, Joey Emilio has done a phenomenal job on it. He was on the ground. He was there. Well done, Joe. And then the people of Cape Town demand our rights to self-determination in the facts of the corrupt, racist, and incompetent national government that we did not vote for. It's time to take action against institutionalized racial discrimination and build a fair and prosperous Cape for all citizens, said Cape Independence Advocacy Group, one of the organizations arranging in the matter, in the march. Okay, now once again, I stick with the problem where they say, yes, you're what's the naming? Where was I now? I was actually looking at a comment. It's incompetent, discriminatory. Yeah, you know what? A non-racist place. But are you really going to find anywhere in this world where there are non-racist communities, people? I mean, you take a look at the United States. You take a look at the UK. You look everywhere. There's definitely. But let's take a look. I have a comment from Linda that says, but if Cape Independence achieves independence, the DA won't be governing. I don't know. I think they're wanting to leave it to the DA. I think it will come there because they hold the majority. Once again, I'm not that clued and educated on that. You know, would they create their own government, their own party, their own parliament and that? Because I know the Cape Independence, and I did have it here somewhere, and if we do get to it, because I don't want to make the stream too long, as I said in the beginning, not feeling like the brightest bunny in the hutch today. But the DA have got the majority there, and they're doing the job, and they're getting it done well. So I would assume that they would somehow hand it over to them, and I think the DA would have some kind of finger in the pie there. I don't think Cape Independence as themselves have also, in one of the articles that I read themselves, wants to be in power. They are purely feeling that they are a politically pressure group, although then you will find that there's the Cape Party who might happily take over and be in power. And let's hope that they can handle it. Because you know what? I make more peace with the fact that the DA is there, because the DA has played the political game and they know what they're doing when it comes to the party. I have a lot of faith, and I know a lot of people shoot her down, but I have a lot of faith in people like Helen Ziller, because she's played the game since way back when, the 80s, the 90s. She's been there for non-racialism. She's been there for independence. She's been there for equality. She's been there for making a better life for all. She's also not buttered up anyone's lips, and she's called a spade, and I think she's also paid the price for doing that, sadly. But I do believe that having a gung-ho new party in there might also be a bit of, I don't know. Once again, please note that this is my opinion. I'm always open for for correction. So if the DA, yes, because the DA is a national party, so are they going to pull out of South Africa and manage the Cape or run the Cape, or are they going to put a finger in their pie in the Cape? Or because, you know what, when it becomes independent, you're not going to have a party in South Africa be able to be a party in the Cape, because it's like saying the Democrats or the Republicans in America can be Democrats and Republicans in South Africa. We're looking at two different countries. So you do have a point there, Linda. But yeah, you know what, the Cape Party is doing a lot of promoting, but you know, it's a difference between being a promotional party and an operations party. So that's another worry. Yeah, you know what, you probably have people new there. So let's take a look at another aspect that I just sort of like crossing my mind, which is if you do have new people in there, they are going to make many mistakes, not necessarily on purpose, but you will have teething problems, which is also going to create a little bit of an outrage from people. You know what, if this doesn't work, let's do it this way around. That's not working. And then, oh my goodness me. Whereas maybe they would have to work under leadership or take over DA people that are there already, etc., etc. I don't know. I'm not quite 100% clued on that. Where did I get? Brian Damon says, an indigenous healing practitioner and a resident of Cluttersville, a largely colored community of Stellenbosch, said, I've joined this march today to free my nation, my customs and culture, because under the DA and ANC, I don't believe they have any plan for us to improve our practice or our cultures as people, he said. From the community I come from, thousands he said, from the community I come from, thousands are in support of this. Even in the surrounding areas, I estimate that 60% are in support of an independent Cape. Once again, it's the people in the Cape, though, in support of that. And then again, you know what? I think it's also what the ANC faced all of a sudden. They promised good for everybody, and when they were given the opportunity to do that, they suddenly found it wasn't that easy to do that. I mean, in life, it isn't that easy. I take a look at, I just kicked off. By the way, I was meaning to say this at the beginning. On Pepper's Echo, the other stream that I have started, which I eventually kicked off on Friday, is the Pep Talk. It's more to do with depression, anxiety, pressure, life stress, etc., etc. And yeah, it's also my opinions, but also my experience. However, one of the things that came out of there as well is you can't always please everybody. No government is always going to please everybody, including the Cape Party or an independent Cape as a country. And as I said, once again, the bottom of my heart, a little compartment there so wishes that it becomes a reality and that I would be able to return home again. But yes, maybe I'm just too old and unwanted. Cape independence organizations are calling on residents of the Western Cape to register their support for a referendum on splitting the province from South Africa. One organization, Cape Exit, has garnered a close to 600,000 registrations calling for a referendum. They estimate that they need 1.6 million registrations. Rudwin Gertz, a resident from Kuils River, a town near Stellenbosch, said, I'm doing this for my future children. If times are difficult for me, what will it be like for my children? I'm not only doing this for me and my race, I'm doing it for all people of the Western Cape. It's difficult for me as a minority of this country to get a job due to national government policies. They like to say we are black, but when we have to tick the boxes, we need to tick the colored box, which prevents us from getting the job. Here's another picture from the Cape Freedom March. But criticism of an independent Western Cape has come from the EFF MP Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, who slammed the movement. Now, I wouldn't give much weight to the EFF because A, they are unreasonable, they are thugs, they are terrorists, they are little Nazi red ants running around the place who are as thick as two bricks. I have no time for them. I have absolutely no patience, no respect, and I don't consider them any form of literature to listen to. But anyway, let's take a look. Cape Town will never be an independent state. A Boer republic is a failed dream. It will never happen. There will never be a white-run country anywhere in Africa again, said Ndlozi. Okay, now, once again, and I was hoping to make this maybe an EFF-free stream today. But obviously that is not going to happen. But once again, the EFF have now taken everything and twisted to their immature, childish, thick minds. First of all, a Boer republic is a failed republic. Who said Boer republic? The Cape Independent referendum or movement is a independent Cape for all. No Boers. Nothing was even mentioned about it. A white-run country. There'll never be a white-run country in Africa again. No, I agree. There'll never be a predominantly white-run country in Africa ever again. That was abolished with apartheid, and that will not be coming back. It will be an independently run country, whether it be a person of white skin color, colored skin color, Indian, Chinese, black, whatever. If they are put into a position, they will be able to do their job. So I do believe it is going to be somebody who is competent, a competency-based run country, not a color-based run country, which the EFF are too blind to see. So, yeah. Others, such as constitutional expert Pierre de Vos, has said, the idea is a pie in the sky, a pipe dream, and that the call for the Western Cape secession should be immediately abandoned. However, supporters didn't blink when asked the question where they were concerned by comments made by those against the move. These people are benefited by the status quo, so obviously they will say that, said Jack Miller, the leader of the Cape Party. The government has a legal obligation. If we get a majority vote in the Western Cape in favor of independence, they have to grant us independence. It's the free will choice of the people in the Western Cape. So if we want, we can be independent. As I said, once again, my skepticism says no, but my heart says, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? I don't know. I don't foresee it. I don't foresee it happening. Although I think it is a perfect view, but there is so much, and people are so indifferent and unique. I'm not saying it's bad that people are different. If we were all the same, it would be a remote-controlled factory. So it's good that we are different. But I just find that no, I don't think we can. I've got the Cape Party site over here, homepage, and it says there the Cape Party stands for greater economic and political independence for the Cape. We are being robbed economically. We are being radically and culturally oppressed. It is our choice. We can end this and build a prosperous country. Now that sounds beautiful. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but is it possible placed where the Western Cape is placed? Is it possible taking it from where it belongs? If we take a look, Switzerland is, I don't know if it's as great as what people say, but in my little mind, it's a little gem that has no scruples with anyone and does really, really well. Finland, I think, has been voted the happiest country to live in or something like that, where the people are most happy to be. Coming out of this war-torn piece of cloth, would the Western Cape actually have that utopia again? If the ANC-controlled South African government will not negotiate with us to stop its policy of persecution against the Cape and its people, then we'll be forced to pursue our only option. Through legal and peaceful means, we will strive towards a democratic referendum in which we, the people of the Cape, may decide our own future and destiny as independent state. Once again, we, the people of the Cape. If it was just the Cape, it would be fine. But as soon as that happens for the Cape, do you really think that everybody is going to allow you to do that? I sincerely doubt it. I sincerely doubt it. Just before I close off with a couple of WTF facts, just a little bit on Cape independence becoming the Cape of Good Hope again. The ANC government is leading us into an economic and social disaster. The Western Cape has consistently rejected their agenda, yet our democratic voice is rendered redundant by a system where our government is not chosen by us, but despite us. Our best hope is creating our own first world nation on Africa's southern tip, the Cape of Good Hope. Together, let's build Africa's newest country. Security, freedom, and prosperity for all the people of the Cape. So now then it says, who are we? Excuse me. In the Cape Independence Advocacy Group was formed in 2020 to coordinate and support people and organizations working towards Cape independence. The group's primary goal is bringing about a referendum in the Western Cape with the end goal of secession from South Africa and forming a new sovereign state with a government that better represents the people of the Cape of Good Hope. So basically, this is what Cape independence is the independent state. And once again, I don't know if, I suppose you've got a promise up there to be able to deliver at least mediocrely. Through awareness campaign, advocacy, and lobbying, the group aims to unite the citizens of the Cape with a clear and focused message and build a support base amongst various communities that call this region of the world their home. The group is committed to democratically, lawfully, and peacefully obtain independence for the collective peoples of the Western Cape. Now, once again, they refer to the people of the Western Cape, which I 100% agree. If it happened for the Western Cape and only the Western Cape, and there was going to be no flow, I would definitely say yay. Our primary activities, get people talking with PR and social media, offline visibility with marches and branded physical items to display, political lobbying and influence. We are not a political party, and we have no intention to govern. We are not aligned with any political party. So, there you have it. I don't think I'm going to go around the circle harping on it again. But they've had a march on it. The Cape parties for it. You have a Cape Independence. What is it called? The Cape Independence Advocacy Group. And the other one that we looked at was the Cape Party. And you've seen Cape Exit and all of these things in the process. So yeah. I really hope that utopia does lie ahead in the bottom of my heart. In my head, I don't think so. I don't think you can snip off a piece of South Africa and think it is going to be the rose garden at the tip of Africa, because you will find all kinds of people flowing to there. And if you are expecting to hold them out, you are probably sorely mistaken. Are you going to start up your own army, your military, healthcare? It is going to be a long, long road. And with this current world of instant gratification, people are going to expect an independent state today and instant gratification tomorrow. And if it doesn't happen, you're going to find people going, but you know better. And especially, as Linda mentioned, if the Cape Independence achieves independence, the DA won't be governing, because if the DA is a South African political party, would they go over to the party that has been elected to govern Cape? If not, if the Cape Party governs, do they have the knowledge and experience to do that? It's something that I'm actually watching with great curiosity, if I can say so. As I said, the big guys, Ronaldo Gous, Chris Wyatt, Roman Kabanak, Morning Shot, Joe Emilio, Germ from Germ Warfare. Check those guys out as well. Give them a look. I'm just creating the questions. I'm not telling you it's good. I'm not telling you it's bad. I'm not going to tell you it's not going to happen. I have my reservations of if it is going to happen. My concerns are more about how you are going to deal with what you don't expect to deal with when you are busy providing a vision of a utopia as such. Just to close off, take a quick little look at something I like to look at. A few WTF facts, little facts going along the line. So I thought we'd look at 2 or 3 facts just before we close off. Reading recommended by Mr. WTF Facts. Here are our top recommended Amazon reads. WTF stories, animals, psychology. Okay, don't worry about that. Right, 1956, Elvis Presley got a polio vaccination on national TV. This one event was partly responsible for raising immunization levels in the United States from 0.6 to 80% in just 6 months. So, guys, what we are going to have to do for the COVID vaccination is get a good bunch of celebrities and musicians to take the vaccine on TV publicly. So that, because how many are actually looking at taking that vaccine? I don't know. There's that's a chat on its own, because that vaccine will. A lot of people, including myself, are dubious to take that vaccine. I'd like to first see what happens, and then there's countries going, well, you can't fly here, you can't come here if you don't have the vaccine. How long is it going to take the vaccine, and is it really going to work? The last time I took a vaccine was a flu shot, and I've never, ever, ever been so ill in my whole life as the time I took that flu shot. So, the Church of Adonitology is a religion formed by Prophet Adonis that worships women with big butts. I like big butts and I cannot lie. Okay, now after that psalm, we'll sing. No, kidding. Iceland has no standing army and is seen by many as the most peaceful country in the world. I'm going to leave it at that. And yes, we'll try and maybe end our shows with a couple of WTF facts. Please, guys, please remember, where's that little sign of mine? Please, I beg of you, like and subscribe, and share this video. It's the only way that it gets out there, and that we can actually build up some form of community as well. Please also mail us on Peppers Echo, PPRS Echo @gmail.com with any ideas, anything that you would like. But I'm busy looking at Divan having a good laugh at the big butts and I cannot lie. You go, Prophet. Sadly, we're a non-profit organization. Anyway, right. So, yeah, do give us a mail at Peppers Echo, PPRS Echo. Any ideas, any subjects that you would like us to cross. If you would like to come on the show as well, maybe just having a chat. I mean, you don't have to come on out of a specific hobby, or you don't, as you know, we are creating questions. We are not, thanks for the applause, Linda. We are not a researched phenomenal army or whatever, etc., etc. We are basically everyday people in the street taking a look in. And yes, I'm not in South Africa. I've lived my whole life there. I've been out for just under 2 years. I miss my country. I would love to have the opportunity to go back. I do not have that opportunity at the moment. And the least that I can do is actually just cover it like this for people, whether it be expats, whether it be South Africans, whether it be anybody with interest. But I'd like you to actually send us a mail, push in a comment, cover this. Let's take a look at this. One of the things we're wanting to cover is, should the death sentence be brought back to South Africa? And that's a topic that I want to cover. Should it or shouldn't it? Another one is the changing of the street names. You know what? Why? Why are we spending so much money on that? There's so much that we do want to. And then once again, before we finish off, I just want to encourage you, please go and take a look at, also on the Peppers Echo channel is a stream called The Pep Talk. It deals with anxiety, stress, depression, confidence, everything that life is throwing at you currently or that you may have. And especially if you're embarrassed about it, I'm trying to deal with a few things, but I'm trying to deal with it from a personal perspective. So once again, it's for you to take out of what you would like or see working for you. It's not a directional map. It's a nice chat. And if you feel you'd like to come on there, you'd be able to drop me a mail at Peppers Echo as well. And yes, please, communication is the only way that we can develop this little station. We do it for the love of it. It's not monetized. I don't have advertisements. It's not big. I don't have any big pipe dreams. Utopia, Peppers Echo, independence. No. Anyway, But before I think it's because I'm ill, that's why I'm doing stupid things. But yeah, before I do carry on, guys, thank you so much for everything. Linda, thank you for always being there. You're an absolute star, warmth in our heart. Divan, you rock, buddy. You rock. It's an absolute heartwarming thing just to have you guys around, and I feel honored to have you watching us and also criticizing. Please, you know what? It can be good criticism. It can be bad criticism. It always helps. I'm always open, and the views are always there. From my side, thank you very much if you're watching live. If you are catching this up on the rerun, thank you very much. Please don't forget to like and share. Take care. Look after yourself. Be good. And if you can't be good, at least be kind. Thank you. Cheers.